Well, welcome to our Funding Your Vision through crowdfunding with myself and Doug Spada. And we're glad to have you today. And it's a delight to have Doug co-host this with me, as Doug is the person who introduced me to this new technology. And Doug, good to see you today.
Yeah, it's nice to see you, Os. Great to be with everybody, and look forward to talking about this kind of fun technology we bumped into.
Well, Doug and I have known each other, I think, since around 2000 when he moved from San Diego to Atlanta. And he was also just beginning in the whole faith at work area like myself. And we just started walking down similar paths. And he has a workplace ministry himself called Work Life Ministry. And so he lives just a few miles from me here in Atlanta now, and our families know each other well. And so it was, I guess, about a month or maybe even less than 6 weeks ago that Doug introduced me to this new technology. And quite frankly, I get thrown a lot of stuff on a regular basis that this is the newest and greatest thing that's going to fund your ministry. And so I have a little bit of a filter on whenever I have things like this presented to me. But the more I learned about this product, the more interested I got. And now I'm fully on board with the idea. And so what we're going to do today is share with you about this whole area around crowdfunding and this particular product. And just before we get started, just let me make a reminder to you that our Joseph Calling Conference is coming up September 23rd, 24th here in Atlanta. Hope you can make it. If you or someone you know is going through extraordinary adversity, they need to be at this conference. It's an easy in at the airport hotel in Atlanta. We'd love to have you join us. And Gerard Long, formerly with Alpha, and myself and my wife Pamela, and Bradley Stewart, a major intercessor. We're all leading this conference and love to have you join us. Well, let's talk about this concept of Smash Fund. And this is a technology that has just launched this month. And Doug, tell us a little bit of history on how you came about knowing about this this product and what you can tell us about it.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to be with you again, and also everybody that's on this call, just welcome. And, Os asked me to kind of just share a little bit of the story. For many, many years, I've been running a nonprofit venture and needing to fund different things and find creative ways to fund. And as some of you know, you have dreams and visions. You may be running a company or a nonprofit, or you just want to expand beyond, the territory, the borders that you are in now. But there's always a barrier there. There's always the funding. How do we fund this? And so I've run into that a lot over a lot of years. And so I was asking the Lord throughout 2015, kind of, Lord, how else can we fund what it is you've called us to do? And, I had a couple prayer partners share with me that, one time one of them said, Doug, I feel like the Lord wants me to tell you this: cast your net on the other side. And so that kind of struck me in a strange way. And so recently I had a trip scheduled to go to California. I was speaking at a CEO forum. And so what happened is, right before I got on the plane, another brother, a separate brother, said, Doug, I was up praying this morning, and the Lord wants me to tell you to cast your net on the other side. So that was interesting, because I was like, wow, what is happening, Lord? So I flew out to California, was in Irvine, California, and lo and behold, I bumped into the CEO of Smash Fund. Smash Fund is a new technology that just launched actually this week. They've been beta testing it for about a year and a half. And Smash Fund is really about funding people's dreams and stuff. And so I met Rob. I asked him a bunch of questions. He told me about how he had used a social algorithm and meshed it with a crowdfunding platform. He said that he was reading Forbes magazines once, and he noticed that in this Forbes magazine, it said that crowdfunding has some barriers to it. And I didn't know this, but 89% of people's projects never get funded. And so he said, wow, what if we could actually marry the social algorithm that God gave me years ago, which is a network building kind of algorithm like Facebook or LinkedIn, and we married it with a crowdfunding platform. So they did that, and Smash Fund was born. But days later, I was in San Diego, and I was just the Lord. I couldn't shake this thing. I'm like, gosh, usually things like this roll right off my back, but I was thinking, man, something is going on here. And so my wife had told me, we were staying in a hotel down there. She woke up in the morning and she was looking at a news channel, and she got stuck on a financial channel. And this financial channel had something strange. It had the word unicorn all the way across the TV screen. And my wife said that she just felt like the Holy Spirit was saying, God wanted us to pay attention to this unicorn. And I'm like, what in the world does that mean, man? A unicorn? Well, about 30 seconds later, she asked my son to change the channel. So he changed the channel, and it landed on a Christian show called Sid Roth. Some of you know Sid Roth. And he was interviewing somebody, and they pulled a piece of scripture out and put it right up on the TV screen. And right out of the Bible, man, there was the word unicorn 30 seconds later after this first unicorn. And so she journaled this, and she was just telling me about this. And I was like, what in the world does a unicorn have to do with something the Lord would want us to do? Mm-hmm. And so that day I decided to get on a conference call and listen to the vision of Rob Tolles and one of the other founders. And right in the middle of this conference call, they said, Smash Fund is going to be a true unicorn company. Mm-hmm. And so I just started screaming. I said, Tricia, get out here. Listen to this. And she says, I told you God was speaking to us. I told you. And so I started researching what is a unicorn company. And I didn't know this, but in the venture capital world, a unicorn company is a company that goes from startup to $1 billion very fast. So obviously that got my attention. That's how I got started in Smash Fund. That was, gosh, I don't know, a short 60 days ago, really. And I became quick friends with Rob Tolles, the CEO. I started researching this. It's based upon, it's well-funded. They have incredible technology. And that's, here's an interesting fact too. My wife, Tricia, did a little research. And I guess in the Bible, when you see the word unicorn, they think that it was actually meant a rhinoceros, with a tusk out of the front like that. So after all that happened, by the way, we were in San Diego Zoo, man, world famous San Diego Zoo the next day. And we walked around the corner, and there was a rhinoceros staring at us in the face. And so the Lord sort of kind of pushed me into this. And then after hearing the vision and getting to know Rob and seeing everything that was built before, it didn't take me long. So anyway, Austin, looks like you have a little video of Rob right there if you want to play it.
Less than a minute long, I think. Let's listen to his heart about this product.
My name is Rob Tolles. I'm the CEO of Smash Fund. Smash Fund, in my opinion, is the first crowdfunding company operating as a social network. First of all, I love the crowdfunding space. This is the most exciting space I've ever seen, because one thing we know for sure, out of the billions of people on this planet, every single person has a project that they'd like to fund. But then I read an article about the failure rate. How many projects never get funded? But I thought, what if we started a crowdfunding platform that came alongside that creator and helped them fund their project based on our revenues? That said, hey, if you build a massive user base for us, we'll come alongside you and help you fund your project.
Yeah, so Doug,
yes,
the thing about Rob is, he's no rookie. He's already had success. The last company he sold for $115 million because he understood this algorithm thing. That speaks volumes to me about his ability to create something that will be.
Yeah, Rob told me, Oz, that he wrote this algorithm, and for those of you, some of you know what an algorithm is, but it's really just a set of rules, mathematical rules about. Facebook runs on algorithm, Google runs on algorithm. And so he wrote this social algorithm to be able to connect people. And so And so they would find each other, and then they ran it in a company in early, I think it was 2009, 2010, and they reached 47 million people using this. So I think it was an energy product or something like that. And then Rob's last company that you just alluded to, they used it in the social gaming app. And so the reason why Caesars bought that for $115 million was this. That algorithm was connecting with people so efficiently that it actually it was reaching 4 million people per day and 120 million per month. So the story goes, and what Rob says is that I told you he was reading Forbes magazine, and just this idea came up to him. And the Lord is like, hey, I've given you this algorithm. Use it to fund the kingdom. Use it to fund ministries and businesses and things like that. So they spent a year and a half putting that algorithm together with a social network. And then something exciting we're going to talk about here in a minute after we talk about crowdfunding us is that their team was inspired by Uber and these other network sharing kind of companies that share their revenue. Most of you know who Uber is. And so they married that revenue share model with this social networking and a crowdfunding platform. So that's very exciting. So now we can get paid. We can monetize the people that we connect with, and all the networks that we've connected with are just our friends and family. And so it's a really kind of an exciting opportunity.
Yeah, and I want to go ahead and put to ease some people who are already thinking network marketing, pyramid, all that stuff. This is not what that is, and we're going to explain why this has nothing to do with that, although it sounds like it. So let's talk a moment about the size of this market. By 2025, the crowdfunding market is expected to be a $90 billion industry. And yet only 9% of clients achieve their funding goals. With the existing crowdfunding. Now, we expect that's going to be totally different with this model because it's radically different. There are 4 types of crowdfunding that, Doug, you want to talk us through these 4 things and just tell us where do we fit with Smash Fund in these 4 areas?
So, I know some of you may be thinking, hey, what does crowdfunding have to do with me? I know my wife would be like, hey, what is crowdfunding? But crowdfunding is actually very, very popular. It's set to exceed normal venture capital by, in the next few years. And so, there's probably about 400 crowdfunding platforms. There is no crowdfunding platforms on the planet that actually revenue share like Uber and give 80% of the revenue back to the user base. But as you said, there's 4 main types of crowdfunding. Okay, there's equity-based, donation-based, lending-based, and reward-based. So the first 2 we'll cover. Equity-based is really where you actually have a company or something and you give away shares. You can give away micro shares. Somebody can invest $25 and actually get a little micro share of starting an actual company. That is also called regulation-based crowdfunding, and that's regulated by the SEC. Okay, so Smash Fund is actually going to be an equity-based crowdfunding, I think, near the end of the year. Right now, what Smash Fund has launched is donation-based crowdfunding. And donation-based crowdfunding is where you can basically crowdfund anything. You can crowdfund medical bills. You can crowdfund your projects or passions. You can crowdfund a mission trip. Churches can crowdfund, projects. Lending-based crowdfunding is we don't really even need to cover that. That's just where you get a return on your investment. And then reward-based crowdfunding, some of you may have heard of Kickstarter and some platforms like that where, let's say that I create a gadget or I have something that I'm wanting to build or invent, and I say to you, Oz, hey, if you give me $1,000, I'll give you one of the first ones we make. That's reward-based. There's something in return. Donation, there is no return. That's out of just giving. But don't let donation-based fool you. You can use donation-based in your company. You can use donation-based to pretty much do anything. And if you go on to smashfund.com, you'll see some very creative projects that people are funding. Everything from medical bills to some people are on there I've seen that are they're getting married and they need resource man to actually get married and all that. So they're crowdfunding their marriage cost. And so it's really up to your creativity and stuff. But right now, Smash Fund rolled out donation based, and at the end of the year, they're going to roll out equity based also.
That's great. Well, let's talk about this idea. There's a couple of different models out there of crowdfunding. We've got Kickstarter, GoFundMe, Indiegogo, but this model is radically different, and
Yes.
it can just exceed your concept of what can be done with this. So let's talk a minute about the fact that what we're doing is really leveraging social media as part of this. And so that is the key thing. Let's talk about that for a minute, Doug. Where does how are we leveraging social media in this?
Yeah. Well, the slide you had just before us was really showing crowdfunding platforms. People remember GoFundMe. If you want to go to that slide just before, Kickstarter, GoFundMe. So this is really a marriage. Like I said before, it's a marriage between crowdfunding. We've already discussed the Smash Fund is different than Kickstarter, GoFundMe, and hundreds of others because Smash Fund is going to actually revenue share back the revenue as well as being a crowdfund. So it's marrying the crowdfunding platform with, you can go to the next slide, to actually leveraging social media, and almost all of you are familiar with LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and some of you, if you've been on LinkedIn, you can see that they show your generations. Like, hey, here's how I'm connected to Oz Hillman. Here's how I know him, and I know this person. And so these algorithms and the way that they build these are really called in social media terminology. This is called a social graph. So these crazy things where you see people connected all over the world, it's called a social graph. So Smash Fund is connecting a social graph with crowdfunding, and then the real kicker is like I've mentioned several times is the revenue share. Now, there's something going on in our economy that some of you may know about, and it's being led a lot of times by the millennial generation because they don't really look at assets the same way as like my generation, Generation X. They share. They don't like wastage. So a lot of times if you have a home, some of you have used Airbnb where you can actually share somebody's home or stay in their home while they're away, or maybe stay in one of their bedrooms if you go to a city. Alibaba, Uber has totally turned the entire taxi and limousine and the transportation industry on its head. So these companies are very disruptive, and it's what's called the share economy. If you go to Os's website, you can find a little link it's a documentary on the share economy. I think it's on your website, Os. Is it? I don't know if you put that there, but and so it's a marriage of crowdfunding, social networking, and this share economy. Okay, so that's what makes Smash Fund very, very powerful. Here's a little video, I guess, Os, you're going to show.
Yeah, this is just a little promo video that kind of introduces you to Smash Fund.
All right, raise your hand if you've heard of crowdfunding. Small amounts of money from large amounts of people leverages the monetary muscle of the masses. But what does crowdfunding have to do with you? Everyone has a passion, right? Starting a business, paying off unexpected bills, funding your passion, which might mean you finally buying that wingsuit, huh? Whatever your passion, it can be crowdfunded. Now, raise your hand if you like limits. Yeah, neither do we. We've removed the limits of traditional crowdfunding and added the power of your social thumbprint. By building a community like a social network, you have instantly engaged backers for your passion. Plus, we help fund your passions by paying you to build your community. Yes, we have unapologetically turned crowdfunding on its head. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness the blessed union of crowdfunding and social networking. We now pronounce you totally pumped up. Smash Fund is simple. You scratch our back, we scratch yours. Simply join and receive your invite code. Each new person or company you invite builds your community. And when they invite people, your community grows through our proprietary social graph. Before you know it, bam, your Smash Fund connections go viral and overlap with others, giving your profile visibility way beyond your dreams. Not only can friends, family, and followers pitch in to fund your passion, we'll pitch in too through our revenue share. The time to join is right now. Before Smash Fund spans the globe, you get to be at the very beginning of our social connectivity. Create all the connections you can and never give up your early status. For the price of your daily coffee, you can start living a life without limits. Smash Fund subscription format has eliminated pesky percentages and fees associated with funding goals. Passions and projects can change freely within your profile, while backers and connections stay put. Now, raise your hand if you're a dreamer, an entrepreneur who eats obstacles for lunch, or just ready to make your life collide with your passions. Everyone has something that ignites their passion. Let us help fund yours.
So that gives you a little bit of an aspect of it. And
yeah. And you know, us, that I want to say that's the kind of tools that thing just shares the whole thing in a nutshell, you know, as far as that's the kind of tools that make it very easy for you to share this with other people, other leaders of ministries, churches.
Doug, start that thought over again. Say that over, because I'm going to get rid of that poll thing right there. Just say that again.
I said, you know, us, you know, that video is an example of some of the assets that Smash Fund has that makes it easy for us to actually share with our friends, family, churches, networks, organizations. Just makes it very easy. It kind of encapsulates the whole thing in a nutshell, and then just allows us to communicate better.
Well, we want to ask you a poll question during this session of the webinar, and that is, do you have a project, passion, dream you need to fund? And tell us whether you do, and also tell us whether you've ever used crowdfunding. Now, Doug, this slide is going to tell us the real uniqueness of Smash Fund compared to all the others. The typical crowdfunding is one-dimensional. It's going out trying to raise money from an audience out there that largely is going to be the audience you give yourself. There's no way of increasing your audience unless people share it, you know, themselves. But the one thing about Smash Fund is that it has a second way of earning money. And in some ways, it could even create more money that way than the typical way of going out to a donor base. So there's two channels for raising money. That's because 80% of the fees, which is $149 to be a member, to have an account with the Smash Fund, 80% of those fees go back to the clients because of our ability to share the vision with other people. And that goes back to this concept of the share economy and also the social media leverage. Yes. Now, let's talk for a minute, Doug, about this social algorithm. We've already talked about it for a moment, but let's drill down a bit more in this.
Yeah. So, you know, like we've already said, us the way that these networks connect, and, you know, this is maybe an easier way to see it, you know, as far as if you think about yourself in there, Os, and then I connected with you, and then the people you know are actually now into my community. And so that's the way Smash Fund actually works. And they actually, that, you know, and then that spreads all over the world. You know, you know, that video or that picture we just saw of, I think that was Facebook's algorithm. That's the way this works, except that, they expose people, the crowdfunding projects to these communities, and you actually get paid for the viral connectivity. So just like in Uber, Uber pays their drivers, 70 to 80% of the revenue that Uber makes, okay, which is enormous. And in this situation with Smash Fund and this kind of viral connectivity and crowdfunding through Smash Fund, we are the drivers. So they're giving us 80%. We're essentially their entire marketing across the world. And so the way they do that is for each person that you actually directly connect with, they share. There's a $149 fee. So this is like a LinkedIn Premium or a LinkedIn Pro model. And so there's other crowdfunding platforms that charge a subscription based. And just in case you're thinking, well, $149, oh my gosh, there's other platforms that are free. Well, nothing's free. They just take more of the money that you actually raise is the way that they actually fund their model and stuff. So, yeah, you get for every person that you share on Facebook or in your network or in your church or in your nonprofit, you get $50 per month back to your nonprofit or to you personally. It doesn't have to be an organization. So, but the really exciting thing is, like say Asa and I are connected to each other, just like in Facebook, you have I think a maximum of 5,000 friends or connections. In Smash Fund, you're allowed to have up to 16,000 connections, okay, or viral connections, and they will pay you $4 for every single viral connection. So where do those viral connections come from? They come from the people that we're around, the community. They can come from above you or beside you, all over the place. I mean, I've been in Smash Fund for 60 days now, and I've seen people falling into my 16,000 viral connections that I don't even know. They're connected to somebody else. It's almost like if you're on LinkedIn and you see those generations of people that are connected with you. So I think that makes it very exciting. Now all of that is what they call the revenue share. It's like the Uber model. So there's two different ways you make money or your organization generates revenue in this, okay? One is through the crowdfunding. That's where you share with your friends. There's no fees involved besides, credit card transaction fees. And then Smash Fund becomes one of your biggest backer. So in crowdfunding, as you heard in that video, you raise funds from a crowd. It's the power of a crowd. It's the social networking kind of a thing. And so those people that support you in crowdfunding are called backers. In nonprofit world, we would call those donors, okay? So you can call them donors or backers. Well, Smash Fund's dream and Rob's dream and the way they have this thing structured is that Smash Fund also becomes one of your largest backers through the potential of the viral connectivity. So,
that's the key thing, I think, Doug, is that, and this is what is the distinction between, say, a network marketing company that's built on trying to get someone under you versus this concept is going to benefit anybody who's in your vicinity, whether you're up, down, sideways, whatever. And that's the beauty of it. That's what really I like about this whole concept, is that I don't have to be responsible for, building this whole network, although it's good for people who have networks that they're going to benefit from this model. But the smaller guy, can benefit by being in proximity to others who have networks. And it doesn't matter whether you're up or down. And that's very unique. And that's one of the unique things about this product I think people need to understand, and why it's not a pyramid or network marketing. And they have very strict, guidelines in their terms of agreement that would not even let you build a network marketing company around this. It has to be within the model of this.
Yeah. Well, Rob, the CEO, has told me many times that, he doesn't even like network marketing. Now, network marketing, there's nothing wrong with it, but here's the issue. He just doesn't like the bad habits that come with it, and so they actually legally structured this so that it would never be a network marketing, and they locked that down in something, that we're going to talk about, called a public benefit corporation. So a public benefit corporation, I never knew what that was, Oz, but I did some research on it, and I went into Bloomberg here that you have up, and it's a designation that the government, it's a for-profit company, but their primary purpose for existence, they're declaring, and they get this seal of whatever, it's an IRS designation, I think, as a public benefit corporation. So, and as you can read here, it says it's a platform that enables people to discover, share, vote, and discuss their interest and all that through a crowdfunding kind of project. So why is that important? It's important because the company can't ever go take off and change the whole rules of the game. This thing's kind of locked where, because, I've asked myself, why would a company give 80% of their revenue? There's other companies that do that. And that's because they're spending nothing on marketing, and they know if they create rabid fans like all of us, they will spread it around the world. And so that's what's about ready to happen with Smash Fund. It's going to be, it's launching in U.S. and Canada right now. Actually, it launched Monday in U.S. and Canada, and then it's going to, another really credible fact about Smash Fund is this: they have the legal team that Facebook has. Loeb and Loeb out of New York City. So they are Loeb and Loeb, but they're helping them design a plan so that they launch in each of the countries around the world. So right now, the social graph, there's only about 10,000 people that started this, okay? And you can be one of those, and that's why it can be very opportunistic to actually be a part of a network when it first starts. It'd be almost like LinkedIn or, Instagram or something like that. Us kind of being able to be a part of it and actually help fund our families and our projects early on. So as you know, when it goes into Asia, I think in Asia it's going to be in a few months or so. It could be very, very exciting. When you think about those 16,000 viral connections, I mean, you can do the math for yourself. $4. I've already seen that. I've already seen that happening on just the profiles that I have in Smash Fund.
Yeah, if you really want to drill down a little more, you can go on their website and see the comparison between the Smash Fund and what the other crowdfunding models are all about. We won't take time to go into that today. But you and I have actually created some campaigns or projects, we call them, designed to engage backers or donors. In our case, here we have a page. This took me less than an hour to build because it's a very simple template system that all you do is upload photos and copy into it, even videos and pictures. And so that's for building 40,000 more TGIF readers. And then you have a crowdfund site for your ministry that already created over $1,000. And that's literally in just a couple of days of launching. And so each of the websites has a back office that allows you to see who your other relationships are and see what kind of activity generated. But it's quite simple, but made it very easy to use. So in a moment, we're going to take some questions. And so get your questions ready, and all you do is hit the raise your hand button, and that will allow you to ask a question of us. Now, we've already answered this question directly. Is this network marketing? No, it's not. It may feel like it just because of the algorithm method, but it's less intrusive. It's less dependent on kind of the negative side of the relationships. Again, there's nothing wrong with that business model, but this one, I think, goes naturally with the way people are living. International, it's out right now, available in the U.S. and Canada, and other countries are being announced very soon. They've already got the infrastructure of the financial partner that can take funds, change currencies. All of that's already been done. They have thought of everything, and it is going to move fairly quickly. Doug, as we sign off, and at least until we get to our questions, what we want people to know is that you can go to this website, ML, which means Marketplace Leaders, mlsmashfund.org, and you can actually sign up there. Or if you just need more information, we've got additional videos on our website that talk about this. And if for some reason you go to smashfund.com by yourself and don't go to that, in order to get in the program, you have to use a code, and that code is 5126443. But the easiest way is just to go to mlsmashfund.org, and that'll take you right to a link. You click on it, fill out the form. It's $149 a month to be a client of Smash Fund, and it's no long-term commitment. You can cancel anytime, but I think you'll see within a few months that it'll be well worth your while to do that.
Yeah.
Doug, any thoughts further on that?
Yeah, you can. I just encourage everybody also to go to smashfund.com. Go down to the bottom. There's FAQs down there. There's also the terms and service, and then just play around with it. Go in there and look at it, and then you can hit join now, and you can also use that 7-digit code that you see right there on the screen, that 5126443. And when you sign up, what's going to happen is you're going to see, you'll put that little code in there, because what I wanted to say also is this is invitation only. So you can't just go to the site and sign up. You have to have somebody invite you. That's what kind of creates the viral connectivity. And so when you do that, you'll confirm your phone number and confirm your email, and then you log in and you'll have your own invite code. You saw that in the video, that little teeny, that cute little video there. And so that will be the code that you share with other people, along with, you can maybe post that video that we showed in the beginning along with your invite code, and just share it on your Facebook, and then let people explore, and then they can sign up and for themselves. But I really encourage you to look at this while this company is young and actually exploding out across the country. I think it can really fund your passions, your ministry, and help your family.
Doug, one of the things that you and I have talked about, and as we've discovered kind of the inner workings of this technology product, is that there's a benefit, a pretty huge benefit for those on this webinar to come in through mlsmashfund.org, because what we've discovered is there are communities that already have some major players operating in them. And so you and I have chosen to be put in those communities so that anyone who comes into that community is going to benefit directly. So that's a huge benefit that we know is going to be a great blessing to you as you become a part of this. And it's very exciting, because every day, Doug, we're able to go in that back office and see how the viral algorithm is multiplying.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I said, as we were talking, some people can see my eyes look off to the left, but I'm looking in the back office right now as we're talking, and I just saw another person pop into my viral kind of network, that I didn't have any direct connection with. They're connected to somebody else, and they're just, it's almost like if you were looking in your LinkedIn and all of a sudden, bam, there's another person that you're connected with. But that person that just popped in, I don't know who they are. I didn't have direct connection with them, but they popped into my social graph. Mm-hmm. So from now until whenever, that person, that viral connection will pay me $4 every single month.
Yeah,
so
I think that's important to reinforce the fact that I know that whenever somebody gets presented a business opportunity that has networking involved, you might say, well, I'm not a networker and I hate selling people. Well, that's why this model might work for them, because if you like social media and you have relationships out there, that you don't have to go out and really sell, if you will, but by being in proximity to people who are doing similar things that can really benefit you.
Yes. Yep. That's good. Yeah. So it's, and Rob Tolles, the CEO, told me that he built this. They built this with the small person in mind, not somebody who has to have all this connection and stuff. But I'll give you one little story that's, because, I did this for a couple reasons. One was to actually help ministry funding. But then once I saw the model, I thought, man, I can actually bless my family and create enormous residual income. I like the fact that it's not registered as a network marketing company, because there's a sort of a stigma. I don't have anything against that. I think there's a lot of incredible network marketing companies, but I did this for funding of ministry and then also the revenue share. So in other words, if you and I,
Yeah. So we hope that you'll consider being a part of it. It's to begin, it's $149 a month. You can cancel anytime if you get in there for a couple months. But I tell you, you won't find many investment opportunities like this with such little required to get in and so much potential upside. So I hope that many of you will participate, and I hope that it will be a tool that God uses to fund your dream in what God's called you to do.
Wow. And Os, one more thing before we start taking questions and stuff is I urge people not to get transfixed on $149, okay? Because the algorithm, the way this Uber model works is, I told you, it pays for every person you just directly share it with, it pays $50 every single month. So how many people have to sign up within the course of a month for you to cover your 149 and then be a part of this growth? Right. 3 people. I mean, so it doesn't take much vision to say, oh my goodness, this is a powerful thing. I can share with 3 people, or maybe the viral connectivity pays for it. I know a guy who started when there was only probably 1,000, and they weren't even live, but a lady that he put in who did not do much. She had a passion. She wanted to fund and stuff, but she has like over 1,000 virals, 1,000 different people connected in this social algorithm with her. And so 1,000 times $4. So that's $4,000 a month that she did not have before to actually fund God's purpose in her life.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, there's a lot of applications to this, whether you're for-profit or just have a personal family need, or I want to fund a new business or a new product, whatever the case may be. So we're going to go ahead and take some questions now, and we've got a number of questions that are being sent to us. So let's begin that, Doug.
Okay, great.
So let's talk about how these relationships translate into raising funds.
Yeah. Okay. So the way that the company started is they weren't going to spend millions and millions on marketing. They spent it on technology and building out the platform and all of that. So I told you that they studied Uber and a bunch of other sort of, if you want to call it social algorithm kind of companies where they share, where they're sharing, they're participating in what they call the share economy, like I said. So it's by mandate and by the public benefit corporation kind of, laws, or what's written in the corporate mandates, they share 80% of that back. So I know some of you say, well, where's that coming from? This is a viable product. We're using it right now. So this is, I'm going to mix a few things in here, Os, because it's, when you get into some things that, I don't know, you mentioned pyramid or something like that, those are things that don't generate any value. They this is not even in the same realm. Plus, as far as even network marketing, I mean, Rob Tolles told me yesterday that they, if you go to smashfund.com and go down to the terms of service, just read through the terms of service real quick. And so any type of MLM or network marketing sales tactics or anything is forbidden in the company. So now what you're looking at on your screen right there is just something like you would see in LinkedIn or something like you would see in Facebook. I mean, I'm connected to Os. Os is connected to another, many thousands of people, and so on and so forth. So that's and so this thing just kind of grows. It just started. They did open up Smash Fund about 60 days ago, so people could enroll. No one was charged or anything, but people did enroll, and that was mainly networkers and people that had networks. They were trying to prime the pump. So as we start this company, there's only about 10,000 people in the network right now. Okay, it's soon to probably be 10 million and more. I mean, you guys already know how social. Now, I would be a little skeptical. When I first heard this, and if the Lord hadn't spoken to me, so I started trying to break this, and I started doing research, and I found some people that were involved in Rob's other companies where they used this social algorithm. And as I told you before, they used it in a social gaming app company before this, and that's the one that Caesars bought for 115 million. But it just has an amazing way to go viral and things like that. But it does require you and I. That's why they're pushing 80% of their revenue back out to us, because we share it with people. Now, do you want to go over how that happens, Os?
I think people need a little bit more of the nuts and bolts of this, because basically, when somebody subscribes their $140 and he introduces another business or nonprofit to that, $50 of that fee, so 1/3 of that fee comes back to that organization that introduced them to them. And then this algorithm comes in with the up to 16,000 relationships under one account, can create up to $4 per person through the algorithm. And I know you and I have talked a lot about that, and I didn't quite get the whole understanding of that. But basically, it's kind of like communities. That's the best thing I've been able to relate it to, is that when you sign up, you've got this community over here, this community over here, this community over here, and those communities create relationships and other clients. And when they do that, that $4, another 50% comes out of that 149 from various client bases that you're still connected to, and that's what allows that $4 a month per person within the algorithm. And so that's how I've understood it. Maybe you can explain it better to them.
Yeah. So everybody's familiar with obviously their Facebook account. So I think Facebook has a limit of 5,000 friends or connections or something like that, maybe. The Smash Fund, you have a limit of 16,000 connections in your one profile. So, for example, like Os has a profile, and I remember one of our friends, Bruce Cook, is actually in that community somewhere else, and I think Os, you've already seen that as Bruce Cook has actually been sharing this with his network. He's been getting $50 per month from the people he actually shares it with, but he also gets $4, like Os says, of all these people that actually fall in. Whoops, sorry about that. That was I don't know what that was. He gets $4 for these people that fall into that social graph, and so I don't know us, but I think you've probably seen that happen. So that's the part for me when I was first investigating this. Anytime you have a social graph or an algorithm like that, and you're connecting to other people and things like that, people instantly think, oh, it's network marketing. Well, I said the same thing, and then I challenged them, but you can't have a designation of a public benefit corporation. Network marketing companies have a specific designation by the government and stuff. But so anyway, that's I'm probably only about 30, 40 days into this, but I've seen these different connections happening all over. Now, Rob says to me, "Hey, a lot of you don't understand how viral connectivity actually works, but it's extremely, extremely powerful, especially as you go into other countries and stuff. I mean, it can be very, very profitable for your ministry, your business, or for your family."
Yeah. So one question that we have of one of our viewers is who decides where the money goes? Well, 80% of it's going back to the client base. They're operating the business out of that 20%. And then any money that you're raising from your crowdfunding platform, all of that goes to you.
That's right.
Except for the processing fees for credit card fees. They're not taking a percentage of it. And the other good thing about this is they deposit money into your account every Friday, where a lot of companies, they take longer to do that. Here's another question. Let's see. When you say that 80% of funds are shared back with clients, are clients the ones that are asking for the funding, or are clients all users? Not clear on that.
Yeah, a user, and by the way, whoever asked that, you can, for all of you, you can, again, I encourage you to maybe go down to the breadcrumbs or at the bottom of the website, and there's terms of service, and they define all those terms very clearly, and it's really easy to, that really helped me because I'm a detail guy, so I really needed that. But users are all of us that actually subscribe and actually use the service. Now, right. That doesn't mean that
the nonprofit organization, the business entity,
that's right,
with a user, and then we are promoting our project out to the larger audience.
Yeah. You can have your organization, your family, whatever. So that's the user. Backers in crowdfunding, which comes from the crowd, like I said before. In crowdfunding, somebody that actually supports your project or your passion or dream, they're called a backer. So those are backers, and just like Os has here on the screen, all of the crowdfunding funds come to you. And this is the beauty of this. This is why people are flocking to this, because there's never been a company that said, hey, we're going to take 80% of the revenue, and we hope to be one of your greatest backers for your project. And so that's what makes this very unique. Usually you're left on your own to try to find backers all over. Well, now you have backers, but also you have Smash Fund who's paying you for your connectivity and sharing it with your network.
Doug, here's a question. When it comes to the social algorithm, do people beyond your own sphere or network hear about your project?
They do. If you go to smashfund.com right now and go to explore, you will see the projects like what Os and I see. So those are seen by the whole network. I imagine when there's millions and millions and millions of people, it'll be like anything else in life. I mean, I'm not sure how the exposures or but right now they're making that event that, they broadcast that and people can find your project.
Yeah, great. I've got a question from South Africa. He lives in Cape Town. Would someone like me benefit, or is it only for Canada and USA? No, it's coming to many of the major nations, and South Africa would certainly be one of those. I don't know that we've heard when that's launching, but a number of nations are being launched as we speak. So Just stay tuned, South Africa, because I got a lot of people I want there to know about it as well. All right. Here's a question. Please help me understand why it's advantageous to get involved now at the start. I'm not seeing this benefit clearly. Exactly what is the benefit for getting started early? That's a great question, and we can answer that one clearly.
Yeah. I'll go first, Oz. Maybe you can add to it. But for me, again, there was two reasons why this excited me. Well, actually three. One, the Lord confirmed it for me, and so I listened and just paid attention. Two, I need to raise funds, man, for nonprofit venture, different things we're doing. And then the third one was casting my net on the other side for provision for my family. So you can look at this in a couple different ways. You can look at it opportunistically, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You can also look at it from the crowdfunding and the service, right? It's a viable, and they're rolling out features, every single week. So this is just version 1. In any social algorithm, you can ask the people that were around when people were saying that Facebook wouldn't last or whatever. Since you can have 16,000 people in your kind of community that I said, it benefits you to actually be involved in this social algorithm early, and because you have more people sharing and connecting and stuff. So it's like that picture that I showed, sort of being somewhere. I mean, 10,000 is nothing. It's a very tight kind of nucleus here. And now Hong Kong and I think Australia is going to be opening up next, and then they're going into Asia, I think in early next. I don't know the whole schedule, but I know that that's happening, very, very quickly here as we kind of march along.
So here's a good question. How is funding received for Smash Fund treated by the IRS? Well, the answer to that question is that when you sign up for Smash Fund, you go through a sign-up process that identifies, are you going to raise funds for a nonprofit entity or for a for-profit entity? You have to fill out the paperwork. You have to give banking information into that to where your funds are going to go. So there's a reporting process with that. Here's another question. Could you please explain in detail what happens to the $1,800, Doug, that you raised? Exactly where did the money come from and for what purpose, and what happens to it from there? Do you use that for your project, or does 80% of that go back?
Yeah. So my first answer would be go to smashfund.com and go to the Explore button at the top, and you'll see everybody's projects, right? So I think ours will be up somewhere on that first page, and just click on it. And then you'll see how I set that up. I have a little video there talking about kind of the project. I have what the funds are going to be used for.
And so 100% of that, 100% of that goes to your project, less the credit card processing fees.
Yeah, I think there's 2% for credit or something like that. But yeah, so all of those are called backers again. You remember that's a definition of someone who supports your vision. Those are backers. So they've already contributed. Smash Fund is holding that money for 1 week. Usually in most crowdfunding platforms, again, they usually hold it in escrow for a month, or no, they hold it in escrow until you raise the full amount. Smash Fund's removed all of those barriers. That's why anybody that's kind of thinking, well, 149, that sounds, I would say, if you're thinking opportunistic, that's sharing it with 3 people and you get $50. I mean, it's the 149 is not the issue. Trust me. I mean, within a day, I was like, it was done, and then I was off to raising funds, and I was off to just sharing it with people like us and others that I thought could actually use this. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, and somebody asked me, what's the difference between this and GoFundMe?
Okay. It's similar. The crowdfunding part of it is very similar. The things that are different is this. Smash Fund is the only company ever in crowdfunding that is sharing 80% of their revenue back. Most companies don't do that. I mean, it's probably hard that people want to share that profit back, but so they are, I mean, I wish we had time to get Rob Tolles on the line, the CEO, and you would understand why. But you can, Oz has a video of Rob on his site. You can probably go there and watch that.
We actually heard a little bit of Rob from that, but yeah,
okay.
I've got a more detailed interview on the website.
So GoFundMe though. So GoFundMe has no revenue share. So you may say, well, shoot, maybe they don't have $149, or maybe they do, I don't know, but some of them are quote free, but they have to make money some way. So what happens is they'll take a large chunk of the funds you receive, or that you raise and stuff. That's how they make their money. So anyway, that's the difference between GoFundMe and Smash Fund.
At that website, which is a marketplace leader site, we have more videos and interviews with the CEO, and more explanation. There's a great video on the algorithm, how that works. So those of you who really like to dig deeper in this, you can find a lot more information, and you can go on their website. But if those of you want to go ahead and start, as I say, you can cancel at any time, so you don't. There's not a great deal of risk in this thing. Okay, 2 more questions here. Steve says, still do not understand the revenue share and exactly where it comes from. The revenue share comes from that $149 membership fee. So when you pay that $149 a month, and let's say you got a buddy over here who has an organization, and he could probably benefit from Smash Fund. If you tell him about it and he signs up through your website, then $50 a month will come back to you out of that $149. And secondly, up to 16,000 relationships through the 2 of you. And then as you add more, that can create $4 per person from that. So that's where the algorithm comes in. All right, Gerard says, how are the projects presented to the backers? How do the backers get to see the projects? They get to see them through your own network is the first stage, and then they get to see them, as Doug mentioned, on the Smash Fund site. What was it called? What section is that, Doug?
It's called Explore. If you go to Smash Fund and hit Explore at the top, you'll see you can explore different things. So you could put in, ministry in Peru, or now they just opened that up a week ago. So these are all people's just initial loading in different passions and things like that. So yeah, so there's you share it with your normal network. That would just people that are in your organization or in your network. But then
yeah, you're not your sound's not coming through, Doug. But so the other thing is
in the social algorithm to your passion, and so you don't have.
Yeah, Doug's voice is not.
Have to sign up and launch it. I have a ministry goal, but I'm still. I'm in it also to actually generate revenue at the same time from the revenue share part. So it's almost like an Uber driver. They share that 70-80% with their drivers. In Smash Fund, we are the drivers. We're the social drivers. So we get paid to actually share it with our networks and just the normal rhythms of our life.
Right. And so and Doug asked the question, can you sign up before you have established a business entity for your passion? The answer is yes. You can go ahead and sign up and get the infrastructure set up for when you're ready to go, and it'll be there to help you.
Well, hey, I think that question also we need to explain. You don't even have to have a business entity to sign up. So you can sign up as an individual. I've signed up as a ministry. I have a family profile, and I've signed up as an LLC. I have a little publishing LLC. So you don't, you can sign up as an entity, and you have to put your EIN, and that just is going to matter at the end of the year when they do tax situation stuff. But you can sign up as an individual. I try to find people like my family members and different people like that, because this thing is going to be very, very powerful. I'm already seeing it. I'm just like, wow, this is, and I think Os has started to see that, where there's people coming into Os's network and his community that there's some people I don't even know. It's almost like LinkedIn, somebody will send me a LinkedIn and I won't even know who it is because it's connected with Os and they just want to be friends. So,
Doug, I think that's worth differentiating. The concept of network marketing really depends on you signing up people under you. This concept is more around the community, left, right, above, below, that you're benefiting from those relationships. And that's where it makes it more, I guess, fair, if you will, that everyone in the community is benefiting within that 16,000 relationship. Which, Bud asked a question. So the $4 return from the network is for new network people. Is that correct? Or is it each month? Well, it's those relationships that cross over, and then you've got people paying that $149, and that $4 comes out of those different viral relationships that are there, and it all comes out of that $149.
So it's month. So the answer to Bud's question, Os, is it's monthly. So so if I could show you my back office here, you would see the personal people that I've signed up, and I can see the revenue that's going to come into my account. That's $50 are the direct people, but then I can also see the viral ones that Os has taken. So the answer to your question, Bud, is that is every single month. And Os was answering, where does that come from? It comes from the entire network's $149 per month that everybody's using to crowdfund and things like that.
Yeah. If you're raising funds for a mission or charity, how can it be protected from reaching people you don't want to know about it? Safety issues. The networking seems to take it to others outside of your control. That's probably true. I don't know how you could control that, and because they don't have really a private right now personal access code to get to a funding site that you know of. We haven't heard this question before.
No, I haven't heard that yet. It's a good question. I mean, I don't know. It seems like if safety was an issue, or you had a women's shelter or something like that, and you had to, you may want to name it something else and just raise it to those individual donors if that's what you're. I always thought, well, what's the difference between this and just kind of raising it from a group of people, right? This, for me, this goes outside the bounds of people that I know. You know what I mean? So these backers, can find me and find the projects and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's the most I know about that. But if I was doing that right now and I was like, man, I don't want people to really know about this, I would probably do it under another name, except you got to tell people about what they're donating to, the backers, right? So it's kind of hard to raise in a social network and a backers, but yet they don't know what you're doing, you know what I mean, or who you are.
Can we put a Smash Fund link and information on our website? Yes, but for sure you can do that. Also, can you put a link on LinkedIn or Facebook?
Oh yeah.
Yes, on that as well.
Well, yeah. Not only can you put a link, but they have social media assets that you can use. I'm talking really cool little videos and little graphics, things like that make it very easy. And then frankly, if you just go to smashfund.com and look at the links on the top about how it works, and then go down to the bottom and click the FAQ, there's a little document called revenue share too that'll share everything that we've just talked about. And then look at the terms and service. You should have your head around it by the time you kind of look at that.
Yeah.
So somebody asked about what you get for $149 a month.
I have that question.
I saw it pop up. So or maybe somebody was chatting or something, but I'll just answer that because maybe somebody. So $149 per month is the subscription fee for you to actually use all of the assets of Smash Fund. And so I'm talking about the crowdfunding, but it also gives you access to the revenue share component of Smash Fund. So you crowdfund, but you also get the revenue share, of sharing it with your network and stuff. So it's kind of it is an entrance fee, but it's actually an actual product. It's like, many of you may not know, but LinkedIn has millions of users that actually pay $179 a month for what they call their premium product, their premium or pro, LinkedIn Pro or premium. So it's a common kind of model to have a subscription based kind of, and there are other crowdfundings that have a subscription based just like this. There's I don't have them off the top of my head, but there's a few of them that have $129 or $149. None of them have a revenue share model, though. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Does a person who wishes to give find you under Explore by the keywords only? For instance, if you can go on that Explore section of the website, is there a way people can find you by doing a search? I'm not aware that there is, but have you spent?
No, they can. There's a search feature right there.
Okay.
So I was playing with that the other day. I was kind of just goofing around trying to see what kind of things people were trying to fund. And so again, that's only been up for about a week. So, there is one lady that has stage 4 cancer there. You'll see she's, I think, raised almost $30,000 in 2 weeks because she needs some treatment that is not paid for by insurance. So that's another thing. People, they can crowd share, medical bills and things like that and just raise funds for those too.
Yeah. Steve says, I'm in Canada. Is my sign-up fee in Canadian funds or U.S. funds, and are payouts to me in the same currency? Do they send out tax forms annually?
Man, I don't know that. But if you go to smashfund.com, I know a good majority of the people I'm working with, man, are up in Canada. So I know they would know. I could find out very fast. But if you want to find out even faster, there's a link down at the bottom of smashfund.com. I mean, their customer service is very fast, so you can just write them. Just write support@smashfund.com. I think that's what it is, and just ask them that, and they'll fire that back to you.
Bud asks the question, so within my network, will they be inundated with multiple projects, or is it a link or concept that is shared? I'm not sure I totally understand his question, but you have control over what you share in your network, and you're not going to have multiple people coming back to try to promote to you. You get a feel for that question, Doug?
Yeah, people. Yeah, they're not. The people that you share this with, or the people that you sign, they're not going to be getting emails from all these other projects and things like that. That would be insane. So. That's going to happen through a link or through the website, so I think that was a question.
Yeah. Doug asked the question, what does the company do to prevent fraudulent passions?
Yep. I would say to that, go to the terms and service. I can't emphasize that enough. That answered all my questions with that, along with knowing the CEO and asking them. He would say to you that it's an open platform. So he also told me they're spending $100,000 a month on legal for 3 reasons. Number one is getting all the regulations in place to go into all the countries that they're going into around the world. 2, they're SEC attorneys because they have to work on this equity-based crowdfunding that they're going to be launching. And 3 is compliance, things like what you're asking about. So, but if you go to the terms and service, I can see it right here. There's a whole list of things that are not allowed. They constrain, gambling and pornography. There's all these things that are prohibited on the platform.
Yeah,
I'm sure. And and I'm sure they have some ways to find out through search words and things like that if somebody kind of pops up, hey, I want to smash fund marijuana plants or something. I don't know, whatever, something that may be illegal or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Doug, here's a good question. This looks like it would benefit only people who have networks. What about those who don't have networks? How could they generate income from this business model?
Yeah. I think that that's true to some degree, but not, because some of the people that I have shared this with are not. I mean, you may be looking at an Oz Hillman and saying, well, of course, Oz can do it. I mean, he's connected to all these TGIF kind of people. But that's the nice thing about this social algorithm that I have seen. If you know anything, if Oz told you a little bit about my background, I have an engineering background, and I must have spent 20, 25 hours breaking this algorithm and laying it out so that I could figure out how this thing actually worked, because, what are the rules? An algorithm is just mathematical formula rules, right? So the nice thing about the way this social algorithm works is that it's not so much about how big your network is, but who you're in and around. So if you're in and around Oz Hillman, and you guys you saw how that all works, what do you think is going to happen, man, as Oz keeps sharing it with people, and then those people are sharing it with their rhythm, and I'm somewhere and I share it with people and stuff. You will be very surprised the viral connectivity that starts to fall within your graph, your 16,000 kind of connections. So
I think that of any type of crowdfunding model, this one lends itself to people who don't have large networks.
Exactly.
It certainly benefits those who have networks, but because of the social element of this, it doesn't take long for that to build up to where you're cross-pollinating with other people through their social relationships.
Yeah, and Rob Tolles, the CEO, would tell you the same thing. He says, we created this because sometimes in typical kind of situations, it always goes to the people that are most connected or the most. He says, this platform we created for the average person, the everyday person that actually has a dream, a passion. They need residual income. That is why that's his big why he's doing this.
Bud asked the question, so the advantage to my project is that the concept is shared with other networks through the Smash Fund website, which is shared with, for instance, Oz's network and multiple others shared on the Smash Fund network. That's true, Bud. The other aspect of it is that Doug and I decided that those who signed up through this webinar and through this particular link are going into a pre-established community that will already have a number of networks in it. Is that a fair statement, Doug?
I think so, and I wanted to add one other thing. Some people, or maybe Bud, may be thinking mainly about the crowdfunding aspect, but again, the thing that you got to stay focused on is the revenue share, the 80% coming back from the company. You may crowdfund $500 on your project, but because of your viral connectivity and the connectivity of the whole community and stuff, you may have $2,000 a month coming just from the viral connectivity and the communities that us, me, everybody else is actually building. So it's that's the thing. I've yet to share it. One of our friends, Dr. Bruce Cook, is building community in and around, but I've yet to share it with someone that's looked at the whole thing and just prayed over it, that they have not said, wow, this is very, very different, very unique. Revenue share. That's the key thing that I think. And again, Rob would say, our mission is to be the largest backer. Our mission is to be the largest backer for your project.
Yeah, I think the concept of the revenue share and the $4 of the social networks is a little bit hard to put your your head around it,
Yeah.
because it's so different. It's nothing we've done before. It's nothing we've ever experienced before. But when you start to get on the website, like you and I are on the website, we're starting to see those things pop up on the website, and all those viral connections that are creating $4 a month. Now, the payout on that doesn't start till later this month, but we already see what the potential is going to be on this thing. So,
there's a guy that I know in California, and his girlfriend had a passion and stuff. So, and this was before you and I even knew about this, probably 45 days ago or so, and so he was early on. There was probably only maybe 1,000 people or so, and so she had a project she wanted to kind of do and stuff, but since she was like in the first 1,000 or so, she already has like, I think 1,000 or 1,500 viral connections in the community that has, over the last 60 days and stuff. So that's already $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month just from the viral connectivity that she's going to have to actually fund projects or whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Now that money's going to come to you, by the way. Most of you may be thinking, hey, what happens if I have this viral connectivity, but I don't really have a project yet? It still goes to your bank account. So it's, I used to think like, well, man, if somehow this viral connectivity is created, but yet my funding project is only 15,000, but this is a lot more, what's going to happen? It still all goes into your bank account. They don't hold anything like that. So now if you're a nonprofit and it's all registered as a nonprofit, people get, they get a little donation receipt, things like that, but that'll all come from your EIN when you actually sign up, whether you're a person or a business or a nonprofit. Yeah. Or a church. Churches could, oh my gosh, could you imagine churches crowdfunding kind of, projects and different things like that could be very powerful.
Yeah. Ed asked the question, does Smash Fund heavily market to backers?
I would say no, not from the corporate, because they're giving away 80% of their revenue so that you and I build the network. That's why they have rabid fans, because so yeah, they're not now they are doing some corporate advertising. They're doing a few things like that, but it's not so much. They only have 20% of the revenue. Now that may be $1 billion eventually, but that's why they're following Uber's model, man, and actually pushing that out to us to do the heavy lifting and the sharing and connecting.
Yeah. Well, I think we've come to the end. I double-checked mlsmashfund.org, and that website is fully operational. The code is built into that, so you don't have to put in anything after that. Only if you happen to go on the main website to sign up, you would need that code. Mm-hmm. So, again, it's worthwhile getting started early on this. You can cancel at any time if after a few months or whatever you don't think it's going to be for you. But there are definitely benefits for being in the front end of this because of what you're going to go in through Doug and I. Okay, there's one more question, so I'm going to take you before we close out. Okay, could you please repeat the sign-up code? Thanks. Just go to the website, www.mlsmashfund.org, and there's a sign-up link there. That's www.ml, like Marketplace Leaders, mlsmashfund.org. And if you go directly on the site and you would make sure that the code 5126443 is in that sign-up code. So
if you have the right code, when you put the code in there, something will automatically pop up and it says connecting to, and eventually, so the way this works is once you sign up, you got to confirm your email and stuff, and then you can log into your back end, your back office, and you can put your pictures up there. You can launch a project if you want. You can, do all that.
You
and
can
then
launch a project within 15 minutes. I set one up it took me 10 minutes today.
Yeah. And then you'll get your own invite code. So when you share it with other people, or, whatever, you're not going to share Os's code there. You'll be sharing your code. And so you'll be building a community, and it'll be connected with Os's community, which will be connected with this guy's community. And so that's how that whole thing works. And I say, hold on for 2 or 3 months, and you'll see activity already, very soon. So
yeah, there are marketing tools that they built into this that give you suggested letters that have your code built in at the end of it. So they make it a kind of a plug and play, and they'll be giving more and more of that. But we're on the front end of that. So stay tuned. There'll be much more. And Doug and I will be glad to help any of you be successful in this as we share it, and we'll have more educational webinars like this. Let me answer this one last question. Are the subscriptions expected only on a specific day of the month? I'm not sure I understand that question, but it's a once a month billing of $149 that would hit your credit card each month. Do you think that's asking?
Yeah, it's something else here, Os, on that. I don't know if that's what they're asking, but yeah, obviously the credit cards, it's just a once a month, subscription like anything else you have. But the revenue share, the way that works is, so if you share it with your Facebook, or you share it with people, and people sign up, you get paid each Friday. So they don't hold it for a month and then just kind of pay you. So and those will roll over every single month. So like if somebody signed up today, every month, about this time, around the 4th or 5th or whatever, that revenue share will come back into your account that Friday. So that's it is a rolling kind of revenue share, so that people don't have to sort of wait for their money.
And your back office shows your connections. It shows the number of people you're connected to, either that you've introduced to Smash Fund or the viral connections that you may not have had anything to do with. They just show up because of the viral connections you have. And it's a very cool product. So, all right. Well, we're going to close off, and we'll have more of these. And again, if you want more information, go to mlsmashfund.org. There's multiple other videos. There's an interview with the CEO. There's a real detailed explanation of how the viral, is explained in a video on the site. But you can also just sign up directly there. So, hey, Doug, thanks so much. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks, everybody, for being with us, and hope to see you in cyberspace. God bless.
Bye-bye.